Hello, welcome to the Trial Line Podcast. I'm your host, Bo. This is my co-host, Danny.
Hey guys, hey man, how are you?
We're finally back to our normal setup. I like this a lot better. Hopefully you do too. Today we're going to be reviewing all the games, going through some Instagram questions, and also, guys, we got our stubbies. They're in. They look nice too. If you want one, just hit me up on Instagram. We'll sort one out. What are we going to talk about this week?
Yep, so we're going to be talking all the games, as you said, the questions. But before we get into any of that, we're going to go over the fantasy. We're not going to go over the high scores over every league because that just takes quite a while. So we're just going to go the top scorer out of all the leagues.
Yep.
And that was Hectic Cheese with 1,004 points. Congrats, mate. Most points.
He would have flogged me this week. I got like 800. My team was just terrible. So that's just in our leagues. We got 5 leagues. So he was the top scorer across all those 5 leagues. Well done, mate. I really hope I don't play you anytime soon because you would have put about 300 on me.
Yeah.
I was absolutely terrible this week. Low.
Yeah, me too.
Anyway, we got some Instagram questions. We threw this out late, about 20 minutes before we went on. So here are just a couple. We'll start with the Knights. Jake Phelps writes in. He actually bought a cooler this week, so thanks, mate. What do you think? What happens to the Knights when Blake Green, Ponga, Edric Lee all come back? Like, who misses out? So I thought I'd bring up the team. Obviously, Ponga comes straight back into that team for me. Tex Hoy probably goes to the bench.
I don't even think so.
Well, Ponga definitely comes back into the team.
Yeah, Ponga comes in, but Tex Hoy doesn't go to the bench.
Oh, you think he drops out?
Yeah, he drops out because once they get their full squad back, they've got what's his name? That back rower, Lachlan Fitzgibbon.
Oh yeah, he's still got to come back.
He'll come back. That'll push Mitch Barnett to lock. Connor Watson will move to the bench. Suaso Sue, I think, will drop out again. Tex Hoy's not there.
I thought you were saying Tex Hoy keeps it over. I was going to say, mate.
No. Tex Hoy's dropped out of the 17. Stafford Toa's gone. Edric Lee will come in for him.
So where does Kurt Mann go?
That's a tough one there.
Because Blake Green probably comes back in that side. I really like Kurt Mann too. So that's a tough one. And he's got Edric Lee as well. Edric Lee's a very, very good talent, but there are rumours that he won't be there next year. So do you bring him back into the side?
You'd bring him back into the side because he's the best winger available to you. I think Stafford Toa's losing his wing spot there. Keep Heimel Hunt.
So where does Kurt Mann fit into this side?
I mean,
does he go as a utility on the bench?
It would be out of him and Connor Watson to see who gets that utility spot. I think.
And Connor Watson's been good this year so far.
He has. So I don't know about that one.
I mean, it's a good problem to have for the Knights. They struggled with injuries last year, so it's good to have some depth in their side. But yeah, so we're saying Ponga comes back into the side, Edric comes back, Blake Green comes back, maybe Kurt Mann misses out.
Actually, I was having a look at the stats earlier, and Brody Jones, didn't get a run. Okay. So maybe you could chuck both Kurt Mann and Connor Watson there,
and just play Connor as a forward.
Connor as a forward, yeah. Well, that's what he's been doing, hasn't he? He's been filling in at lock there.
I mean, they've got a very good side. I think they've been playing very good football. So we'll have to see how that all plays out. We've got 2 questions about the Cowboys, so we'll lump these ones in together. Zach Patterson, honest opinions on the Cowboys form after the first 2 rounds. Where will they finish? And Riley Clifton, great friend of the show, great bloke. How can the Cowboys fix the rut that they're in? We'll start with the honest opinions. They have been probably the worst team in the comp in the first 2 rounds, and that's along with Manly. I think they've been pretty bad. Yeah. I thought their attack's been terrible. The defense has shown some bright spots, but their attack. The only time they looked good all season was for about 15 minutes the other night when Valentine was around the ball.
Yeah.
When he kind of just started to float and kind of acted like a roaming fullback, they looked good. Yeah. And when he got the ball, that needs to happen a lot more.
Yeah.
And I know Jack Clifford's leaving, and I don't think he's been that bad this year, but maybe it's time to sit him, put Drinkwater back into the halves, and put Val back to fullback, and just let him get his hands on the ball. That's how I think they should go forward.
Who would they bring in on the wing?
Well, wingers can be found. Throw Hammer back to the wing. Bring in a centre. Oh,
okay.
Even Mitch Dunn at centre. I think Mitch Dunn's been alright.
Well, do they still have that Dejan Assi bloke?
Yeah, I think they do.
He was one of the players. Wasn't he like a gun centre back in the 20s or SG ball, whatever it is? Yeah.
Well, that's my opinion. I don't think they can keep going the way they're going. Their attack, they look absolutely lost. I thought Michael Morgan tried the hard the other night. He tried to just run the ball, get something going, but they had no fluency in attack. They had no idea what they were doing.
Yeah.
I thought they looked absolutely lost. And then even when we got into good ball, like we were trying to kick the ball, it was landed 10 metres out from the line, no contest. It was really hard to watch. What's your opinion on how they've been going in the first 2 rounds?
Look, I'm pretty much the same as you. They haven't been playing the best. I do like Drinkwater back to the halves, Valentine Holmes to fullback. And the thing with when Jason Tamalolo gets back, how Todd Payton's been trying to change the way he plays. I think just leave it with how he has been playing. He's been playing 60 minutes.
Yeah,
that's what he usually does, and that's fine. Don't try and change the way that he's playing.
And just get on the back of him. Get on the back of him. They've got to play faster, I think. They play really, really slow, predictable football, and they've played that way for a long time.
Yeah.
They got into a structure with Paul Green at the helm where they played the same way every week. And you heard you heard coaches talk about them, you heard players talk about their team. They were so predictable in defence because everyone knew what they were going to do every week.
Yeah.
Because they played so slow. And the only point of difference in their attack in the last 2-3 years has been Jason Tamalolo. Because he doesn't play that way. He will try and break tackles. He won't just run to the post and take the tackle.
Yeah.
He does try and explode through the line. And as soon as we play on the back of that, Granville can show he can get on the back of that. We play some good footy. So
there's one more thing that I like to throw out there. Maybe even Cohen House gets the flick.
Yeah.
Because, I mean, he's a decent player. He's an ex-Origin player. But the last few seasons, he's done nothing. He's been nowhere.
No, I just think they play too slow.
Yeah. And I think defensively he gets found out quite a lot, Cohen Hess. So
yeah,
maybe
there's not a lot of upside to them right now, is there?
There's what, sorry?
There's not a lot of upside for them right now. And it hurt me watching them the other night. That was a low game, but we'll get to that. Let's actually, before we review the games, I just wanted to address something. Josh Morris talked about it on his Instagram. He shared a photo about someone giving him some hate after he didn't score, like ruined his multi pretty much. I can't stand this.
Yeah.
And it's mostly grown men messaging NRL players after the game saying, you ruined my multi, or you should have scored, or I would have won $10,000. If that means that much to you, don't bet.
Yeah.
Because if you can't afford to lose the money, like, grow up. You're a grown man. I find it so embarrassing. What he said to him was, F you, you dog C, you effed my multi. I'm out the front of Lamia Stadium waiting for your bus to rock up. Wait till you walk out of that back door. You won't know what hit you.
Oof.
Seriously.
Yeah.
Headbutt yourself.
Yeah.
Like, how embarrassing is that?
It's not that serious. It's not all that.
Well, they got into Josh Adokar like the week earlier because he didn't score as well.
Yeah.
Just grow up. That's all I got to say. I find it so embarrassing. Like, I like to bet. You like to bet. And we often joke, I wish he would have scored in that. I've never messaged a player.
Yeah.
I don't care that much. But I don't bet outside of my means. So if you can't afford to lose it, don't bet. That's what I got to say. Let's get into the games.
Rightio. So the first game of the week, the Eels beat the Storm 16-12. Man of the match in that one was Reid Marnie. Good game of footy. What do you got to say for yourself, mate?
Well, I changed to the Eels late.
You did.
Really late. I was thinking the Storm, I was thinking the Eels. The weather kind of threw me in that one. I just thought it'd come down to just effort plays. And the Eels have probably the best effort player in the competition right now in Clint Gutherson. And he showed that in the first half. He saved a few tries there. Just desperation. Had no right to save that Munster try when he kicked the ball out, punched the ball out.
Yeah.
I think he slipped over like in the corner and still managed to track back and get there. He's great.
Yeah.
I thought it was a really good contest, really good low scoring, which is kind of we haven't seen a lot of them in recent times, especially since the rule changed. Like it's usually blowouts. I really enjoyed that. I thought Reid Marnie, like his kicking game was the difference.
Oh, good.
I thought through the middle of the game, he controlled the pace of the game, and when his team needed a rest, he was pinning the Storm down in the corner.
Yeah.
I thought that was really good to watch. The Storm, on the other hand, they were still in the game. They still had a chance to win it. I thought Justin Olam was really, really good.
Yeah.
I thought the kick on the second tackle was obviously a brain snap. I felt really bad for him.
Yeah.
Other than that, I thought he had a great game. And I put it up on the Twitter. There's been a lot of talk about Daly M points this year already, but I said he's not going to poll which is pretty disappointing because I thought he played really good.
Yeah.
I thought he changed the game at points with his defence. So very unfortunate that kick at the end, but Eels too good. Great win for them. The Storm still are exactly who we thought they'd be. They're a great side.
Yeah. What I think is, I think they really missed Cam Smith at the back end of that game. Usually what he'd do is he'd slow it down, play at his pace, and he'd kind of just control the game, really.
You think Olam's kicking on a second tackle if Cameron Smith's there?
No.
Cameron Smith might have dragged him off the field.
Yeah. Well, no, it doesn't happen. He probably doesn't go, they don't go that way if Cam Smith's there.
Yeah, but that's a good shout. Like, he's situational. He knows what he's meant to do, what's needed of his team.
Yeah.
And that's what I really liked out of Reid in that game.
Yeah.
I
do think Storm
in certain points in that game, when the game was in the balance, he just put it 5 metres out from the line.
Yeah.
Kick long, rolled it in his touch, slowed it down, set the defensive line. I really enjoyed him.
Yeah, good. I think the Storm are really missing Harry Grant as well. There was some times there that Brandon Smith, he did look a little gassed, a little tired there, out in the middle. I did see a comment, someone, I forget where it was, Facebook, Instagram, one of the ones. Someone was saying you can blame Craig Bellamy because they've kind of changed him into this running forward, because he was a hooker before.
Yeah.
And then they've kind of changed his gameplay so that he's more of a running forward.
I did see a video, Cam Munster getting a little bit frustrated sometimes when he maybe thought something was on and he was calling the overs call and wasn't getting the ball. So we'll have to see. We did say before the season we thought it would take time with their hookers, and now that's been postponed because Harry Grant's injured. So it's going to be a little bit of a teething process there, but it was still a great game. Yeah,
it was. Anyway, on to another good game. The Knights defeat the Warriors 20-16, with the man of the match there being Bradman Best. Don't have much to say about this game. It was a close one.
Yeah.
Bradman Best had a really good game. Obviously, he's the man of the match, and maybe might have won the game for the Knights there.
I thought it was a great battle. As per usual, the Warriors, all effort. That's pretty much their MO nowadays. They're going to always be hard to beat. They actually got himself into a good position in this game to win the game. And then Mitch Barnett. How good was Mitch Barnett's goal kicking? Big boy season.
Yeah, I know.
I love that. But Bradman Best, game breaker. Out of nowhere, kind of breaks the line, gets the offload. They win the game. The Knights forward pack's really good. I thought the Warriors went with them for a long time. A lot of good signs for the Warriors. I say it every week. I don't know how long they can keep it up, because they literally have to kill themselves to stay in the game. Like they're battering themselves every week. RTS was great in this one. 2 points. He's always going to be in and around the points if they're going well. Knights, I can't say enough good things about them. They're shaping as a real contender. They do tend to start well in seasons.
Yeah.
We've seen that in the last few years. So if they can hold on to that, we'll see. But go the Knights.
Yeah. As you said, they've got a really good 4-pack. Probably one of the best in the comp.
Yeah. And they've got players coming back, as we spoke about that at the top of the show. They've got players coming back, good players coming back. Possibly one of the best going around at the moment.
Yeah, real good. Anyway, Titans beat the Broncos 28-16. Man of the match there being Big Tino Fasua Malaawi.
I was really keen for this game. I thought it was a bit of a low game.
Yeah.
I thought the Titans looked good for 10 minutes. I think they score 18 points in 10 minutes before halftime. I think they scored 18 points in 10 minutes, and I thought that's the only time they looked good in the game. Although the Broncos halves were poor again. That's been the story of their 18 months.
Yeah.
Ash Taylor was okay. The Titans are building. The Broncos, they're just a team of individuals right now.
Yeah.
You don't know what they're trying to achieve. There's individual players. I think Pengai Jr. was trying to turn the game. Tessie New. I thought Tessie New looked good in patches, but as a team, they just didn't look like they were on the same page at all.
Yeah.
And that's all I can say about the game. I didn't really like the game. I watched the whole thing. Thought it was a pretty low game, but the Titans win, and sometimes you got to win scrappy.
Yeah, sometimes. All right, so I've got a question for you here.
Yep.
So they've given Milford and Croft the first 2 rounds. They've lost both those games pretty convincingly. Like, first round, they had a good first half, or maybe Para had a really bad first half, but then they got bloody
rolled in the second.
Yeah, rolled in the second half, and then they versed the Titans.
They didn't look great.
Yeah, they didn't look great either. So, do you think it's time to bring in Dearden?
Yeah, I would have started Dearden though.
Yeah.
I think Dearden got out of favour when he was having meetings with other clubs.
Yeah.
And I think that forced Kevy's hand to maybe go with Croft. I don't know if you can backtrack now. Dearden's out the door for me. Dearden won't be staying there. Last time I said that about a player, they literally re-signed. So he might re-sign.
So, yeah.
If you want him at your club, well, maybe play him this week. Give him a shot. But who drops out? Croft? Because Croft hasn't been it for me.
Yeah, no, you drop Croft because you chuck Dearden at the 7. Who would you play at 6 out of Dearden and Croft? They're both 7s.
Yeah. I don't know. Well, you got to persist with Milford, I think. Yeah. Milford's shown that he's got it in his game. Croft was okay at Melbourne for a brief period, but he was at Melbourne too. He's in that system. That's the same about Jerome Hughes. Where would he be outside the Melbourne system? You'd have to wait and see.
Yeah.
But if you want Dearden to stay at your club, maybe play him.
Yeah, 100%. Alrighty, on to the Panthers versus Bulldogs. Panthers win that 28-0.
Yeah, Jesus.
Yeah, first time in history that a team has kept their opponent to 0 in the first opening 2 rounds.
You know they haven't conceded since 5 minutes into the grand final in the second half.
Really?
Yeah, they've scored 72 unanswered points since then.
Wow.
Yeah, they're a great side.
Yeah.
Well, like I said last year, I think they had one bad half of football, and it just happened to be the most important half of football of their season. I think they were terrible in the first half last year, and that's the only time they were bad all season.
Well, there was 10 minutes in the Para game.
Yeah.
So 10 minutes and so 50 minutes of bad footy all last season.
That loses you the season.
It does, yeah.
They're outstanding. But this is the difference for me between the Broncos and the Broncos and Penrith. Every single person on the Penrith team looks like they know what they're trying to achieve in attack and defence.
Yeah.
All the time. They're all working together. There are individual brilliances in and amongst that, but they all know what they're trying to do.
Yeah.
And is that because of Nathan Cleary being at the helm and directing that team around?
Could be, yeah.
Because he's a very strong player. He knows exactly what they're trying to achieve. The game plan's pretty simple for them. And like the Bulldogs, to their credit, they kept this close. It was 4 points the difference, I think, for most of the first half. But it was always going to be a big ask for them against the Penrith team. They just know what they want to achieve all the time, and they do it on the back of some great kicking from Nathan Cleary.
Yeah. And
some explosive play. They got Viliami Kikau. He had a great game. Jerome Luai, you said he got man of the match. He was outstanding. They just know what they want to do.
Yeah. Yeah. Bloody hell, I was going to say, the score could have been a lot higher, but the Bulldogs were doing quite well to stay in the game early. But you got to think about it. Panthers didn't have Appy, and you saw Mitch Kenny. He had quite a few errors.
Yeah,
quite a few errors there. So
I thought the Bulldogs scored a good try too, and then that got disallowed.
Oh yeah,
that was a really good try. They kept the ball alive, kept it moving, but they got the decision right in the end. It wasn't a try. So they still keep the 0. Big game coming up for them next week. Can't wait for that.
Who they got next week?
I think they've got the Storm grand final rematch. I think next week. That'll be a banger.
That'll be a banger.
Yeah. Oh, first game too. It's Thursday night. Let's go.
That should be good. Anyway, on to the next. Rabbitohs beat the Seagulls 26-12, and Latrell gets the 3 points there.
Very sloppy game. I said I wanted to talk about this. Benji Marshall proved to everyone why the Rabbitohs brought him in. All right, the game's in the balance. Adam Reynolds goes down with 1 minute in the second half. The score's only 14-6, right? And then, so when Adam Reynolds goes off, you don't have to bring on a utility. You don't have to bring on maybe an inexperienced half. You bring on Benji Marshall, who's been in huge games, been in big moments all throughout his career. You bring him on. The score goes to 14-12, right? They're under the pump at Lotto Land. Goes through the line, gets the offload away to Nichols, who gets brought down 10 metres from the line. Cookie dies over next play.
Yeah.
They go on and win the game. That's why you bring Benji in. That's why they spend the money for him. They got him cheap. He's going to sit on the bench most of the year until he's needed. Come Origin time, he might start some games there. But he's worth his weight in gold in those moments. That's where Benji adds impact now.
Yeah, 100%. I was going to say, when Latrell got sent for 10 for that little nudge on Cherry Evans, do you think there was much in that?
No.
Nah, nothing in that.
No, but It's a penalty. If you knock him off the ball, it's a penalty. So
Yeah.
there's nothing in it though.
Yeah. And I've got another question for you. So, is it time for Dylan Walker to be shifted from fullback? Manly only diffused 38% of their kicks.
Yeah.
Of the kicks, sorry.
Yeah.
So, what are you thinking? Time for him to move on?
When's Tom back?
What'd they say? 6 weeks?
I don't know.
6 weeks. I'm not too
I feel like every single Manly person sitting there going, when is Tom back?
Yeah, he adds so much to that team when he's healthy.
I still can't write him off. Like, that's what I wanted to ask you too. Okay? Now, I don't know if it's time to move Dylan Walker. There's 5 teams that haven't won yet this year. We got the Seagulls, Tigers, Bulldogs, Cowboys, Broncos. 5 teams that haven't won this year.
Mm-hmm.
Can any of those 5 teams make the top 8? Or are you putting a line through every single one of them right now?
I think they're all done.
Even Manly.
Because I've had them.
And the Tigers too. The Tigers.
Well, I had both of them not making the 8 anyway.
So you're willing to put a line through both of them, all of them, stake your reputation on it. None of those sides will make the semi-finals in 2021.
I don't want to stake anything on it.
Well, that's what I'm saying. You've got to put it a line, and once you put a line through them, they can't come back in. So you're willing to put a line through every one of them?
You know what? Yeah, I am.
There we go. I can't write off the Tigers or Manly yet. I think the Tigers have been good in patches. The Cowboys, they're not making the 8. I'll tell you that right now. They'll be lucky if they avoid the wooden spoon at this rate. All right, the next game was the Dragons and Cowboys. The Dragons won 25-18. It was a low night for me. Ben Hunt, man of the match. I thought he was pretty good in patches.
Yeah.
I'll tell you why he was a lot better. Because he decided to run the ball. That's his game.
Yeah, that's the best part of his game.
I thought he looks good in Origin all the time when he runs the ball. When he just thinks run first, the defence gets a bit scared.
Yeah.
Because he took on Josh Maguire close to the line and muscled through that tackle and scored.
And Cohen Hess.
Yeah. He's a great ball runner. It's a really good part of his game. When he thinks kick first, it's like it's his only option, which I don't really like. I thought both teams were pretty ordinary, to be honest. The Dragons just seemed like they knew what they were trying to achieve in attack more than the Cowboys. Like I said earlier, Valentine Holmes sniffing around the ball is when they look their best. They both got work to do. I think they'll both be bottom 4, in my opinion.
Yeah, me too. It was, as you said, wasn't the best of games. They were kind of going hit for hit there for a little while. Like Dragons would score, Cowboys would score, Dragons would score, Cowboys would score, so on like that.
I thought the first half was low as.
I mean, both halves were pretty low.
Yeah, at least it got a little bit exciting near the end there. And it kind of, well, not for me because I just didn't see us any hope there. But I thought Ben Hunt looked good. Daniel Alvaro off the bench snags 1 point in the Daily M's there. Thoughts on him? He was an ex-Para
He did good
player.
off the bench. Yeah, at Para, I thought he should have been getting a run over Kane Evans. For some reason, Para were playing Kane Evans over him. Like, Kane Evans is...
That's your favourite player, isn't it?
No, he's the biggest spastic. Like, he would never just take the hit up. He'd always look to offload and try and make something from nothing.
Yeah.
But I did like Daniel Alvaro when he played for Para, but he just didn't get any playing time, and I'm glad he's doing well at the Dragons.
All right.
Alrighty, on to the next game. Roosters, they smashed the Tigers 40-6.
The wet doesn't matter to them, does it?
No.
Jesus.
Well, they've put 40 on both teams that they've versed in the first 2 rounds, although they haven't been the best teams.
How good are they, though? Yeah. Their attack is just so clean. Like, they just play fast over the advantage line. Every single person pushes up on every play.
Yeah.
That was something that was wrong with the Cowboys, too, on the weekend. Like, twice on 4th or 5th tackle, a front rower got the ball for a hit up. Like on your money play. Like when you're trying to chase the game. And no one pushes up with them, but the Roosters, everyone's on the ball all the time. It's just go.
Yeah.
They must be ultra fit. They love to play footy. They're forwards. There's a lot of inner passing in the forwards. Everyone's throwing short balls. Everyone's a halfback. Lindsay Collins.
Yeah.
I got it here. Lindsay Collins drifts across field. He lays on 2 tries.
2 tries.
Just backing up on the ball. You know what I mean? And unselfish. He could have probably barged over.
Yeah.
Brett Morris, back-to-back hat-tricks. Back-to-back man of the matches. Luke Keary, interesting not to get a point in this one. had a really good stat line, probably controlled a lot of that game. Dane Laurie was good in the losing side, but there's a lot of controversy going around with the Daily M's at the moment. Then there needs to be a different system. I think last week, Jack Bird gets a point in that game for the Dragons. He got the same amount of points as James Tedesco got, because James Tedesco got 1 point. How does that make sense?
It doesn't. It doesn't.
They need to change. Something needs to change there.
Yeah.
But
we were talking about this a couple of weeks ago. What was it? Everyone gets scored out of 10.
Yeah, that's what was tossed up.
I think that's a pretty good idea.
Because there's no way Jack Bird's performance was as good as James Tedesco's performance, but it will go down as them both getting a point.
Yeah.
Which I don't like. The Tigers looked okay in patches. Luke Brooks just couldn't build any pressure. Anytime they looked like they were coming back into the game or building some pressure, he'd kick the ball dead, give away a 7-tackle set. You can't do that against the good sides. The Eels showed you how you've got to play good sides. You've got to pin them in their corner, and you've got to make them work out of their own end.
Yeah.
And that's what they did to the Storm all night. And the Storm still got in position to win the game. But that's how the good sides will. You've got to make them work.
Yeah.
The Roosters didn't have to earn almost anything in this game.
Yeah. Well, I think Luke Keary to 7, masterstroke.
Yeah.
Playing really, really well. I think he's playing a lot better than he does at 6.
I don't know how the Tigers have let James Tedesco and Mitchell Moses leave and keep Luke Brooks.
Well, they kept the worst player out of the 3.
Well,
you got to think about it. They let Martin Powell go, Josh Adokar. Bloody, there's been a few others. Who they let go?
Sam McIntyre. He's a good young player. They just let him go.
They let Aaron Woods go. He was good. He was
he was an
Australian player. They let him go. Yeah. I don't know what's doing, mate. They've let a few other people go.
I really like where their team's at. I think they can get themselves in the game. They've got to build pressure.
Yeah. And
we'll see how they go next week. But the Roosters are too good.
Yeah. Alrighty, on to the last game of the round. We got the Raiders defeating the Sharks, 12 points to 10. Mate, now you want to talk about low game? This was a low game. This was a bad game.
Mate, I was about 13 beers deep at this point. It was a tale of the goal kicking, wasn't it? Poor Chad Townsend, 1 from 4. I thought he played all right too. Just couldn't get it done at the end. The Sharks played like the Sharks of old though. They just hung around long enough. Like they used to just bring teams down to their level and make it dirty and make it like tough.
Yeah.
And they just did this to the Raiders and they hung around long enough, and then they probably should have won the game.
Well, they 100% should have won the game.
Yeah, well, so that's the Sharks of old. That's what they used to do. The one positive for the Sharks here, I think, they completed 63% and still got themselves in a position to win the game.
Yeah.
Now the Raiders, you're not going to win them all like flashy, but geez, they were poor. I thought
that was really, really bad. Like the Sharks' defense in the first half, I thought it was good. It held up, kept it in the game.
Yeah.
And when the Raiders are throwing a whole bunch at them. Man, neither team could really hold the ball. There was quite a few missed tackles there.
Yeah, I thought they were very poor, especially in the second half.
Yeah.
Thought they probably deserved to be beat there. The Sharks have got a long. I say it every single time we talk about the Sharks. They've got a long 8 weeks now ahead of them.
Yeah.
The first test they've had, they failed. They still haven't beaten a top 8 side from last year. They got to build a little bit here, but 63% they're still in a position to win the game, so that's a positive for them.
Yeah.
Anyway, we'll be back on Wednesday. We'll drop our preview show on Wednesday night at 6 o'clock. Remember to hit us up on Instagram if you want a beer cooler. We'll have all our socials in our link tree in the bio. And remember, send in any questions you have on the Instagram and we'll try and get to them on Wednesday. Enjoy your weekend, guys. Enjoy your week.